Attacks against our gun rights over the last 48 hours. You guys all know what I'm talking about. We've seen a massive call for new gun control from the White House, congressional Democrats, the media, all because a transgender activist murdered children in a Christian school. And what does our fearless leader, Kevin McCarthy, what does the guy leading the House right now in D.C. do? He cancels the hearing, questioning the ATF's bump stock decision. And tonight, he's going to waltz into a fundraiser for the biggest gun grabber in Washington, D.C. Aaron Dorr here, guys, American Firearms Association. Like this video. Post your comments in the comment section. Tell us where you're watching from. Patrick, I guess I should not be surprised, but the idea that when we need someone to stand up there and lead more than ever before, McCarthy does what he always does. He chickens out, he walks away, he tuck tails and runs. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Aaron. That's exactly what happened. We all saw the shooting in Nashville. Within hours of that shooting, I started getting text messages from staffers on the House Judiciary Committee who were telling me, man, there's already rumors circulating that they're going to cancel this hearing tomorrow, which was yesterday, Tuesday, because of this shooting in Nashville. And specifically, if you're on our national email alert list, guys, you will know what the topic was here because we alerted you about it last week. It's H-Res 44. It's from Congressman Andrew Clyde in Georgia. What this resolution does is called a CRA, Congressional Review Act, is if the House passed it, the Senate passed it, and ultimately the White House were to pass it or to sign it, it would repeal the pistol brace rule. It's called the Congressional Review Act. Now, does it have a chance in hell of passing, getting signed by Biden? Probably not. But in the House, with Republicans in control, absolutely. And that hearing was canceled yesterday with no timeline for a next hearing.
Right.
And as you said, Aaron, 24 hours, 36 hours later, Kevin McCarthy is hosting a fundraiser for Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, who is the lead sponsor of national gun registration, H.R. 715, with 182 Democrats. So it's like that old Tracy Lawrence song, Time Marches On. I say the swamp marches on, and that's exactly what's happening in this situation.
Well, there's a reason why we're losing ground. There's a reason why, Biden's getting away with more and more via executive orders, bureaucratic rule changes, funding mechanisms. It's because weak-livered Republicans like McCarthy and the legions of people who are aiding him are making this happen. If you have a Republican right now in the House, pick up the phone and call them and say, I want this stuff to stop. I want the Republican majority to, maybe do their job and fight to advance our gun rights, fight to hold Biden accountable. All we're seeing here is the exact opposite. They're giving in. They're always giving in to the radical left. And these days with these leftists, we cannot afford any more of this. These people want to take away every single firearm we own, and they're not going to stop. They're going to use this shooting in Nashville. It's the latest iteration of their talking points to come after us. And again, when we need him the most, Kevin McCarthy just sitting here totally betraying us. Patrick, you mentioned Brian Fitzpatrick. There's a lot of people that know that he is a Republican out of Pennsylvania, but I think few people know that this is a guy who literally is, as you mentioned, the lead sponsor on this year's universal background check bill. But he has been leading gun control bills in Congress for years. He's one of only a handful of Republican rhino pieces of trash who backed the assault weapons ban, so-called, last year. So not only is McCarthy helping a run-of-the-mill rhino, this is Biden's hand-picked Republican who was advancing gun control. That's who he's going to have a fundraiser for tonight. And for all of the Missourians who I see watching here in the comments section, don't forget, McCarthy will not be alone. Jason Smith is the co-headliner of tonight's fundraiser. It's disgusting stuff.
Yeah, I think at minimum, okay, we told you all about this hearing. Now it's canceled. We told you all about a few weeks ago and asked you to take action on the Fitzpatrick fundraiser. At minimum, somebody say something in defense of the Second Amendment. Okay, we're getting piled on, like you said, Aaron, by the media, piled on by everybody and their brother. They're having a trans day of vengeance this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm watching on Twitter, I guess either yesterday or today, McCarthy's walking through the Capitol back to his office. They ask him about the situation. And you don't have to say, like, our preference is, well, the Second Amendment is to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government, kings and rulers and everything else. I don't expect that out of him. But what I do expect out of him is absolutely not. We are not moving gun control. We're going to carry on with what we have to overturn Biden's unconstitutional gun control executive orders. Instead, he's silent, walks directly into his office, and says nothing. This is the type of leadership that we've seen for years. I get it. He's in a straitjacket to a certain extent. McCarthy is. But on this issue, don't walk away from it, man. Don't walk away. We got to move forward here because we saw the story yesterday. I know I sent it around to our executive team, Aaron. Abigail Spanberger from Virginia is a Democrat, so-called moderate. Well, she is working on what's called a discharge petition. A discharge petition is, even though the Democrats don't have the majority, they have 213 members in their body. If they can get 218 people to sign what's called a discharge petition, they can bring a gun control bill directly out of a committee and bring it to the floor for a vote. So Brian Fitzpatrick, the guy that McCarthy's having the fundraiser with tonight, he is a guy who is obviously a top candidate to sign this discharge petition, and some other, Tony Gonzalez from Texas, who's trying to leave the border wide open. He's another guy who would potentially sign a discharge petition as well. So there still are a lot of threats in the Congress, and when our leaders can't even simply say anything about the Second Amendment when we're getting attacked, that sucks. And we deserve better than that. We deserve, bigger and better fighters up there.
Well, and again, all it does is incentivize the radical left to push harder. It's like just any other bully on a kindergarten, playground fight. You see someone down, you're gonna go after him again and again and again. That's what we're seeing right now from the radical left. They're seeing cringing Kevin McCarthy not stand up and defend our Second Amendment rights. He's not rallying beside gun owners. On the contrary, he's actively fundraising for gun grabbers. So, of course, the Democrats are going more aggressive, using different tools. You mentioned the discharge petition, anything they can to advance gun control. This is what happens when you telegraph weakness. Other people are going to see it. They're going to come along and try to run a gun control nightmare down the throats of Kevin McCarthy and his team in Washington, D.C. So this is why this stuff matters. You mentioned, Patrick, how very few people are having the guts to say what is necessary. We heard this yesterday. I mean, I work Missouri gun politics a lot. I got to say, I was very disappointed to see Senator Josh Hawley, who comes from perhaps one of the most pro-gun states in America, when he was asked, why does anybody need an AR-15? And I'm going to give you what he said. But before I even do that, words matter, and the way we posture ourselves on these issues matter. And so whether it's John Thune, who had the same response a year ago, or Josh Hawley yesterday, when they say, well, I use an AR-15 for target shooting. I use an AR-15, as Thune said, to shoot coyotes. Well, you don't need an AR-15 to shoot coyotes. You don't have to have it for that purpose. And so once you go down that road, once you go down the idea and so I have it for this purpose and that purpose, when you get away from the real answer, which is we have a Second Amendment, not for sport shooting, not to shoot coyotes, as fun as all those things are, we have it to stop tyranny. You've already lost the argument. And I think you sent a video out recently, Patrick, of Chip Roy, who was talking about this last year in committee. And our good friend Jared Nadler, that's heavy sarcasm, stops him and says, does that mean that you're saying that you're going to shoot your own government? And Chip nailed it and said, the mere presence of the Second Amendment is why it will never come to that. Because an armed population is what keeps our government in check. That's why we have a Second Amendment. But if congressional Republicans don't get their act together and remember what the purpose of the Second Amendment actually is, we're going to lose more and more ground.
Yeah, I couldn't believe what I heard from Josh Hawley. I mean, like the sporting and hunting ship has sailed, man. Like, how could you possibly spit that out unless you're just trying to be this, swamp, talking point guy? I mean, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, they had a hearing with Mayorkas yesterday. He went after Mayorkas' Homeland Security Director and said, "Can you define what an assault weapon is?" He can't, on and on and on. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Aaron, I know our organization, our affiliated state level organizations, fights heavily in state level politics. And you and your brothers and other people who work for us and myself, we've seen it over the years, right? Shooting, cancel the hearing. Shooting, cancel the vote. It's no different at the federal level. These guys are weak. They're not scared of you. And until they're politically scared of you, they're going to keep doing this nonsense. And that's what I think we saw to McCarthy yesterday and the day before. And we can't let Jim Jordan off the hook. I mean,
no,
he's the one who put out the statement. But again, we've been in legislative bodies for 15 years. Make no mistake about it. Kevin McCarthy told Jim Jordan, Jim, do not hold that hearing. Turn it off. And that's what he did. Did exactly what he was told.
Every single time there's a shooting, every single time there's some way the left can use the media optics to advance their agenda, they never let up. They never, ever take their foot off the necks of gun owners in the Second Amendment. And we just have, you got Gates and you got a handful of others right now in the House who have that same aggression. They're never taking their foot off the necks of the gun grabbers who are coming after our freedoms. But we need 100 more, 200 more Matt Gaetzes in Congress right now, people who will absolutely, fight like hell to defend our freedom and not give these people the moral authority they're trying to claim. If we keep surrendering this kind of ground, we're not going to have any freedoms left. And so again, if your congressman is a Republican, you need to call them up and say, I demand that you guys push your leadership team to fight to defend our gun rights. We're almost 4 months into this Congress, Patrick. We haven't had a single gun bill on the floor. He hasn't done anything for House Republicans to advance gun rights. Yeah, he's got a small majority, but he has the majority he has because of gun owners. But he's done nothing to reward gun owners. And of course, we always see the radical left. The moment they have control, they're pushing. Gun control, abortion issues, tax increases, open the border. They don't wait at all. But our side, loosely defined, we're just days away from April. We've had nothing whatsoever on the floor to protect gun owners. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and a basic hearing, you mentioned Chip Roy, you mentioned Gates. That Judiciary Committee, and even Jim Jordan from time to time, that Judiciary Committee is loaded with our best orators, so to speak, the best defenders of the Second Amendment. Imagine the optics of the radical left sending in all these trans crazies, interrupting the hearing, and our guys defending the Second Amendment, and we walked away from that. And they just walked away from it. And not those members. It's Massey, it's Gates, it's Chip Roy, Dan Bishop, Jim Jordan, but the leadership said, nope, back away. And believe me, I've talked to some of their staffs and I know that they're not happy about it. Some of these guys, I won't name names because it's just not worth it. But, I mean, I think that covers it, Aaron. It's time just marching on in the swamp, the big fundraiser tonight for Brian Fitzpatrick, but something definitely to keep an eye on is, Congress goes out of session for 2 weeks. We're supposed to have the Dettelbach hearing on April 26th in Washington. Yeah. A lot of stuff to keep an eye on. And we'll be keeping you all updated. So be sure to check our national email alerts, guys, that are going all over the country. And you'll probably get one a little bit later today as well. And we'll tell you more about this.
Hey guys, stay involved. Join AFA.org is the website to get as a membership today. You get the updates live from our team almost every single day right now. A lot going on. You're getting breaking news updates, the tools you need to take action on your own behalf in Washington, D.C. and in your state capital. Much more to come, guys. Busy days. I'm going to give the last word here comes from Art Hughes. His last comment, no apologies, no excuses, no compromise. Could not agree more with that, guys. On that note, have a great day. Stay free. We'll be in touch. Take care.